Cats are known for being protective and independent, but when they become mothers, their love for their kittens knows no bounds. The bond between a mother cat and her babies is incredibly strong. They stay by their side and will even risk their lives to protect them. That's why it was surprising when a farmer witnessed a cat giving birth and leaving immediately afterward. It was even more astonishing when the reason behind it became clear. But what could be more important to a mother cat than her newborn kittens? This story takes place in a small village in western Spain on a chilly winter day. Maria, a lifelong farmer, was going around her farm, ensuring the well-being of all her animals. She lived in Alvo de Serra, nestled near the Tierra de Ella mountain ranges, where winters could be harsh. Maria had been living there since she was a child, inheriting the farm from her father, who had passed away a decade ago. Maria was an only child, and through the farm she felt her connection with her dad, especially through the animals. Her father, Miguel, had rescued all kinds of animals who now lived on the farm. He was a vet by training. It had become a kind of shelter, and now locals knew to take wildlife there. If they were injured, Miguel would nurse them back to health, and often they would never want to leave. Maria had tried to continue her father's legacy, but she wasn't a vet. As much as she loved the idea, she didn't think she had the skills and knowledge to fill its place. Maria wanted to make her own impact on the community and give back to the place that raised her, but what could she bring for now? She was taking care of the animals, still living there. She had built a bond with all of the animals. Carandria the duck threw, or the horse, and Franny the goat were all childhood friends of hers, but it had been some time since a new animal joined the family. She knew every inch of the property and took care of it just like her father had taught her. It was second nature for her now, and that morning she was thinking about her future. Could she stay in the village and build a life there, or should she head for the city like many of her friends had? She had no idea that this day would change her direction and give her new hope. After finishing her morning routine, she was ready to head back inside and get breakfast started. She had the eggs from the chicken coop and some vegetables from the garden. However, halfway between the field and her little house, she heard a faint noise coming from a pile of leaves under a tree. That was odd, she thought. So she went to investigate. She knew about everything going on the farm and was rarely surprised. As she got closer, it sounded more like a soft whimpering. Was it one of her animals, or was it a visitor? Maria whistled and clicked her tongue to try and get the animal's attention. There was some rustling in the leaves and the pile swayed back and forth. Maria leaned over to get a closer look. She knew it could be dangerous to disturb a wild animal, just like her father had taught her. That's when she noticed a small black paw sticking out from under the leaves. She couldn't think of any farm animals with such tiny paws. Suddenly, a small black furry head emerged from the leaves and looked around. It was a beautiful black cat with glowing green eyes that were fixed on Maria. The cat carefully examined her from top to bottom, trying to decide if she could be trusted. Just then, there was a flash in the sky and it started to rain. Strong gusts of wind were blowing leaves and dust everywhere. The tree provided some shelter for the leaves, but the rain was already forming puddles around the pile. The cat looked around anxiously, still cautious as if protecting something. But when it locked eyes with Maria, she could sense that it was asking for help. Understanding the situation immediately, Maria sprang into action and hurried back to the house to grab a blanket. When she returned, the cat had disappeared, but as she approached the leaves again, its little head popped up once more. By now, the cat was getting wet as raindrops fell on its damp black fur, making it look untidy. Moving slowly, Maria gently picked up the cat along with the leaves she was sitting on, using the blanket. The cat's cautious green eyes remained fixed on her, but it seemed to accept that this was the best option. For its size, the cat was quite heavy, but Maria thought that maybe she had picked up some rocks with the leaves. She jogged back towards the house, making sure not to slip on muddy grass. While she was inside, she laid the cat down on the floor and unwrapped the blanket. Now she could see why the cat was so heavy. It was pregnant. That's why she was crying. Luckily, Maria had experience with animals who were giving birth. so she knew that the cat probably didn't need much help. All she needed to do was stay nearby in case anything went wrong. After the first hour, Maria could see that the cat was managing just fine by herself. She went to do the rest of her chores and have some food a few hours later. Maria returned to the living room to find 4 little kittens. They were already moving around and snuggling up to their mother. The cat was making her newborns feel safe and helping them to rest. It had been a big day for everyone. As Maria knelt down to get a closer look, the cat looked at her hand. She had finally won her trust, but when Maria sat down to play with the tiny sleepy kittens, their mother stood up and headed for the door. "Hey, where are you going?" asked Maria. The cat gave her one last glance before jumping up to a table and jumping out through a crack in the window. Maria couldn't believe it. Had this cat just left her with kittens to raise? After making sure that the kittens were fast asleep, she decided to venture out and look for the cat. It couldn't have gone too far. The rain was still heavy and the storm had picked up. With her rain jacket on, Maria fought her way through the wind as she searched for any sign of the black cat. Her next discovery was going to surprise her even more than the last one. Maria whistled and called out to get the cat's attention, but there was no response. She knew that the cat must have found some cover somewhere, but it wasn't in the pile of leaves where she first found it. After checking a shed, she made her way to one of her father's old trailers. When she peered underneath there, it was the black cat again, but this time it was surrounded by a group of other black animals, all cuddling up to her. Maria wondered if the black cat had given birth to more kittens out there. As she approached, she realized they weren't kittens at all. They had spiky backs, beady eyes, and small gray feet. They were hedgehogs. Maria couldn't believe her eyes. In all her years on the farm, she had never seen anything like it. The black cat was taking care of the hedgehogs as if they were her own babies. Maria firmly told everyone to go inside. Some of the hedgehogs turned towards her voice, but most of them stayed close to the cat, refusing to move. Maria fetched another blanket and carefully picked up all the hedgehogs, feeling their prickly skin on her hands. She placed them in a large wooden crate with the blanket underneath. Now that they were in front of her, she counted 8 hedgehogs, and they all appeared to be babies. That day, the little cat became a mother to 12 little ones, and it changed Maria's life. She became even more dedicated to the farm and realized she could follow in her father's footsteps. Maria named the cat Coco, and together with her 4 kittens and 8 hedgehogs, they formed a little family. Maria never found out where Coco came from, but the caring cat had arrived at the right place at the right time. Just like Miguel, Coco took care of animals in need and gave Maria the inspiration to stay. What do you think of this story? Thank you for watching. See you next time.